Austin to Seattle.
We are Dos Amigas talking everything F1.
I'm Lisette.
And I'm Amanda. Bienvenidos
Bienvenidos a
a
Circuitos y
Circuitos y
Chismes.
Chismes. Y'all, we're trying to get like a tagline going. Anyways, we've been getting organized. I have a new equipment. I think Lisette has new equipment. I think we've talked about this like separately on like our TikToks, but like this is so much stuff to learn. And then we also have full-time jobs. So I feel like I'm cramming on how to use this technology like literally 10 minutes before we get
Yes.
We also just found out that
Yes.
there's like a script teleprompter thingy in
Yes.
Riverside, which is cool. So we're using that. But yeah, we've been getting organized this week.
It's been really fun. The second two, we're not even 2 podcasts in, but we have a lot more going on in our TikTok and our Instagram. But it's been really fun trying to learn it and all of the work that goes into this. So props to all you content creators that have been doing it, because it really is a lot of work. I didn't think it was going to be easy, I will say.
Same.
But
I didn't think it was going to be easy. Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be this much learning.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun.
No, it's so fun. It's also like so invigorating, and like it's cool to like, I was telling my husband, like it's cool to like use my brain in a different way.
Yes.
But like you were saying, we had a prep call on Friday before we recorded. And one of the things that Lisette mentioned was when she's like, when influencers are like, oh, my assistant and my team. And we were like, get chingados, what team?
Team. And now we're like,
and we're like, oh yeah.
Let me eat my words.
We need a team. But we are the team. So
we are the team. We're doing it all for now. But yeah, we hope you can follow along. Find our Spotify and Apple podcast spelled out. It's Circuitos, Circuitos, Y, and Chisme, which is Chisme.
Chisme means gossip.
But I feel like it has a better like.
Oh, I know. I think it's like the equivalent of like tea.
It is. It's totally the equivalent of tea.
Yeah.
It's tea.
Totally,
yeah.
Yeah, so we are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Shout out to Lisette for figuring that out. So the new episodes will drop when
Wednesdays. Cool. So the full podcast you can listen to on Wednesdays, but you could catch our teaser content in our social media. And we hope you engage, because we love chit-chatting on there too.
Yeah, the people are in the comments. I like that. Some people. So I know. Join us. Tell us what you think. And also, like, you don't have to agree with us. Like, if you disagree, tell us. Respectfully, tell us.
And okay, speaking of disagreement, before we jump into everything else, I was the algorithms, I think, caught on to my take on George. And I was getting so much like content that of like how amazing George is.
They're trying to flip you.
They're trying to flip me. And you know what? It started working a little bit. I was like, do I need to reconsider?
Okay. Yes and no. So we can agree that he's like a genuinely nice person and probably like a really good teammate and like a kind and like loving perhaps boyfriend or whatever. But I still think that he's giving snitch on the racetrack.
I know.
What do they tell you in therapy? That 2 things can be true at the same time?
Exactly. That is what my therapist has said. You heard it here first. Mi terapeuta. Look, this is the space where we also believe in therapy. You might see my emotional support water bottle every now and then.
And my cafecito. It is 8:30, but I'm drinking cafecito tonight because I'm tired.
I cannot drink coffee after like 2 p.m.
No, not even with a little postre?
Caffeine.
You don't drink cafecito con postre?
Only on weekends.
I
can't do it.
Look at me like I'm crazy when I do that.
You know why?
Like, it's because I'm Latina.
No, it's
I don't get it.
When I drink coffee in the afternoon, it makes me sleepy.
That's when you take the best nap. Según esto, if you take
No, pero para entonces I might as well go to sleep. ¿Cómo que nap?
There's no naps here.
No naps. No, me quedo dormida. But yeah. So, but I do love a good cafecito in the morning. I'm addicted. There's nothing better.
I love my Nespresso.
I have what do I have? I have a DeLonghi Dinamica Plus.
Oh, you have a real thing.
It's like, it was a pandemic buy because all the coffee shops shut down, and I was like, I'm not going to be fresh making espresso every day.
Okay, let's get into the topics. So there's no racing because really great time for us to start a podcast, and we're live, and now there's no racing until Miami. So it's like in like 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. And there's really no race because of the war in the Middle East. So Bahrain and Saudi Arabia were canceled, but there's still plenty to talk about, even if we didn't have a race, because F1 is like a telenovela. There's like so much drama happening offside the track, which sometimes I actually find actually most of the time, I find way more interesting than what's happening during the race. And it also like colors
Yeah.
like the way that you like view and engage with everything.
Yep.
It's like the whole package. But yeah, we
I
have
feel like the main supervillain of the telenovela that is F1 is always FIA though.
FIA. Yes. Well, it used to be Christian Horner,
Supervillain.
but we don't have him anymore. So, but
That's
it's
true.
the FIA for sure. Yeah. And we'll talk about
So
that.
because there's a lot going on with the new regs and all of the safety concerns that we saw in the last race. And now there's a whole conversation that's going to happen. When is it? April 9th with the
Yes.
drivers coming
Yes.
up. And so a lot of the regulations are going to be under discussion. And of course, the FIA has these, what do we call them? Let's say articles and addendums and loopholes and exceptions written into the rules, right? Part of the
Yeah.
regulations. But let's see how much actually gets tapped into.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
see.
this is like the largest overhaul like in a really long time. I guess like what the one before was like 2014, I want to say.
Yeah, when they went into the hybrid.
Hybrid hour. Yeah, the hybrid era. I didn't follow race. I mean, I was a fan because the race was coming to Austin, but I didn't like know all like the intricacies of everything back
Same.
then. So I actually don't know how much they changed like how much they had to tweak things along the way. So to me, this is all like very like escándalo, like, oh my God, they have to change things. And I'm like,
Well, it is escandaloso because, at least from my fandom experience, I've only been watching the sport under the previous regulations. So for a lot of us that maybe, haven't been following F1 for maybe as long as you have, like this is all new. And it's
yeah,
like, whoa, this changes things. And then some of the drivers too, they've only driven under the previous regulation.
oh yeah, that's
So
true. Yeah, yeah.
the
I
Fernando
think too.
Alonso's have seen a lot, but
Oh
everybody
yeah.
else, like,
Yeah. And Nico Hulkenberg, he's
and
been
Nico,
around for a minute. Lewis has been around for a minute.
Lewis.
But yeah, I feel like also like with these like new regulations, and then like the past like week, the news cycle of F1 has been like really hard to keep up with.
Yes.
So probably by the time that like you listen to this, new shit has happened and we'll discuss that next time. But there's just like all this stuff kind of happening all at the same time. So where should we start, Lisa, with new regulations and
Well, let's talk about the driver's role in it, how the GPDA is meeting to talk about the auto, which I was like, what is auto? I had to research like what is auto, but it's
Howdo?
a auto. Uh,
Howdo.
um, Auto stands for, let's see, I literally wrote this down.
Additional development and upgrade
And upgrade
opportunities.
opportunities. Yeah, so it's essentially a mechanism that teams get to tap into if their current power unit is not meeting the same power allocation that the benchmark team has,
Yeah.
which the benchmark is who?
Mercedes.
Mercedes, George Russell, Antonelli, they have the benchmark power unit. So
Yeah.
any team that is not utilizing a Mercedes power unit, which there's like a couple of other power units, it's the Ferrari power unit, there's a Honda power unit,
Honda
Ford
and
and
Mercedes.
yeah, but there's one other one. Is it
Let's look it
who
up.
else is providing a power unit? Who does Aston Martin have?
Let's see.
Honda, Ford,
Audi.
Mercedes, Ferrari.
Mercedes, Ferrari, Honda, Audi, and Red Bull, Ford
Ford.
powertrains. Yeah.
Yep.
Ahora
So
tengo el Google. I learned from last time I got my Google up so we can fact check things.
there we go. We only speak facts here, you guys, plus a lot of opinions, but those are not
Yes.
facts.
Yeah, heavy on the opinions. Okay.
Yeah, so essentially any team that's using the Mercedes power unit does not get to qualify for the same tier or any of the auto like provisions. So really the people that get to benefit from this is going to be 100% Aston Martin because they're struggling.
It's wild.
And then I heard that Red Bull actually won't be eligible because they're not worse than that 2% threshold to qualify for an upgrade or a modification to their power unit, which I thought was really interesting because they're not doing well. And it's because their chassis, they have seriously massive chassis issues with how unstable the car is. So it has nothing to do with the power unit. That's a whole different. So they won't
Whole
get
different component.
won't get any relief from this. And then our favorite, players coming into this is Ferrari. That's the one I'm most interested about because they do qualify.
Yeah.
Um,
They're
they're going to give
testing,
Mercedes a run for their money.
they're also testing like an upgrade package, right?
Hmm.
That they're going to bring potentially to Miami.
Yeah, they get to start incorporating some changes, but the auto changes technically, I think, don't go into an effect until Monaco. But that
Yeah.
race, no one can do anything in that race. So I feel like that's a wash and it
Yeah.
doesn't count because you can't overtake or anything in that race anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
The interesting thing about the Aldo
outdoor.
is also keep in mind we still have a cost cap to
Yeah,
stay under. And they did increase the cost cap this year, I think, to like 215
mil.
million mil. I'm like, that seems so low considering,
Yeah,
like, but anyway, they did increase it to 215 million. But I like, depending on how much you have to go like digging in your coffers for this. So like, I don't think
I
like,
know.
I don't think this impacts like, Ferrari, like the big teams as much. I guess I'm
Because
thinking
they have a
more
lot of
about like,
funding.
yeah, I guess I'm thinking more about like Haas
I know.
or like, yeah, I'm, it's interesting. I'll be curious to see how and if that plays a role at all because I mean, Red Bull famously went over their cost cap for what was it, catering?
Catering. Yeah, I'm like,
So, sure.
yes,
Um,
Christian. It was
so
catering.
yeah, so we'll have to see how that kind of all plays together. But then
Yeah.
also is in addition to that, like the driver meeting. So there's a drivers union called the GPDA,
Hmm.
and they apparently have been like very vocal in the group chat, and rightly so. Like, right, like I was reading again, like all of this was prompted by like Ollie Behrman's crazy crash that he
Yeah.
walked away from, which one goes to show you just like how safe these cars are and just like how much that like halo has helped and
Yeah.
just like
The
all the other
safety
stuff.
regs.
Yeah, yeah. But he went into that wall at 191 miles per hour, which is wild. And so, rightly so, the drivers have been obviously concerned about like
Yeah.
safety and stuff.
Well, and they all had flagged it, I think, like even before this
They did.
race.
Yeah.
They've all been talking about the safety and how they're just going into those corners really fast and there's too much of a speed difference. And sure enough, here we are. Like, so it's validating for them. And I'm actually really glad that the FIA is even willing to actually have like this sort of association for the drivers to come through and talk about what they want to see change and they're willing to collaborate. But I also think it also comes down to us as fans, like when the fans are unhappy with what they're seeing. So this might be an opinion, but I'm really curious to see how the ratings are doing with the viewership.
Okay, this is on the bottom of the agenda, but we should talk about it. So, in addition to all of the race regulations and like what the drivers are going through, there's been talk, and me fijé like in the moment, but apparently like on the live broadcasts, during the race broadcast, the broadcast is actually cutting away from the straights, and then like the onboards with the drivers are
Yeah.
displaying different information to not show basically how slow they're
Yeah.
going,
They're
which
like
is
censoring.
yeah, which is like super manipulative, but
Yeah.
also like I kind of get like I mean I get why they would want to do that. But at the same time, there's also talk about the fact that so there's that happening, right? And like the eagle-eyed people that catch this stuff
Hmm.
are seeing it and now I'm noticing. But then the other thing is like there's been talk about how people are actually liking like the more overtakes, right? It's like you're
Yeah.
overtaking and then, overtaking again and like how that can be like kind of exciting. And I think like it was either F1 or someone had like talked about like after like the not Australia. I think it was after China. They
China.
talked about like this were like X many overtakes versus like other races and stuff. And like, yes, that is exciting to watch, but it's also like, oh, okay, he's just gonna come back once his unit's charged and go
I
right through. So like
know.
don't I don't know how much that is actually impacting ratings. And then also like in
Maybe.
addition to that, you also have just like a changeover. We talked about this last time, but you have a changeover in like broadcast to Apple TV too. So I'm like, it's also, I don't know, like how do you, I guess there's a way to measure that, but like I just don't know how you would do it. But it is,
Yeah.
I think it will be interesting to see. And I also wonder, like, there's a lot of talk, I think, around like commentators like chatting about like F1 purists and like people that
Mhm.
have watched for like a really long time versus like what they think now. And then like newer comers to the sport and if they like notice these things. And
Yeah.
there's just
I
lots of
sort of
commentary on all of that.
I sort of feel like some of the regulations make it seem like it's very scripted because that's just how the power units are deploying energy. Like with the yo-yo racing, I don't know. I know that that's one of the conversation topics that's going to be addressed with the drivers.
Mm,
I don't know if this is true, but I saw like I think there was like a list of things that was like published by the FIA that like are going to be talking points during the
yeah,
meeting.
I
And one of
have that.
them was removing the overtake mode. So reducing like those modes that basically create that yo-yo racing. So it's like you deploy it, but then your battery unit, it, like, and then you hit the boost and then
Yeah.
so it's basically that. And I feel like for me, that sort of feels like it's almost like, yeah, like predetermined and scripted a little bit if that's the only option you get. Like that's the functionality that the car gives you. And I wonder if that's why the drivers don't like it either because it's sort of like they don't really have a choice. They do and they don't. I mean, it just changes, I think, like the way they drive. And for me as a spectator, like I can't say I hate it because we're used to also seeing the DRS train, right? Where it's like nothing would happen. And at least now we're getting some
Something.
action. We're
Yeah.
getting something, but then the gaps were still really wide, right? So then like they couldn't even overtake because the gaps were too wide. So we'll see how things change, but I know that that was one of the things that they were gonna talk about. And then like reducing the power itself, the output of the power um, I think from like 350 to 250 kilowatts or something like that
Yeah. I don't know.
to address like the speed differentiation when
Yeah.
they're at the straights and going into the curbs. But I wanted to also mention to you or like talk about some of the other talking points that are not even related to the regulation changes. And I don't know if this is accurate, but the interwebs said that they're also, and I know that this was an ongoing conversation from last year, is they want to ask for permanent stewards because the stewards for
Yes.
each race are voluntary. They're volunteers. So there's different stewards for every race, which I mean,
And the
how does
marshals. No,
yes.
and the marshals that are
And it's like,
cleaning up the shit and like fix. I'm like, they are not, they're fucking volunteers. Are you
I
kidding me?
know. I was like, les pagan tanto, están ganando tanto dinero para que no les paguen.
That's wild.
Yeah. And the inconsistency of the steward decisions. Like, this explains so much, right? It's like, I don't know.
Listen, listen. If high school referees get paid, then
I
fucking
know.
F1 stewards and marshals need to get
Should
paid.
get
And it
paid.
shouldn't be a volunteer position.
I
Or
know.
like maybe they should do it like, I can see why it's like volunteer basis, right? Like they're traveling all over the world. They're
Mm-hmm.
that could get expensive, right? So like maybe they just do it like geographically. Like these are the stewards and marshals for this region. Or
Yeah.
like I don't
Or
know. That
even by race, no sé, pero
it's
algo.
wild to me. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. So that was another thing that might come up. And then the other one, which is really interesting because this happened. Oh, this was like a decision that came when Yuki, it was the last race last year when Yuki went past track limits, but it was in that track that had the double white lines. And it wasn't
Mm,
clear like which is the line that has the like the border, right? And if you go over it, like you're
yeah.
going over the line. So you're going above track limits. So apparently, track limits is also going to be another discussion topic where they want there to be a very clear track limit, whether it's gravel or some other like just way more visible and consistent way of knowing like if you're going over the track limit or not. which I thought that was really interesting because we do see the track limit thing happen a
Happen
lot
all the
last
time.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
also
then
the
the
cars
last
were
one
so
is
big.
getting, oh, I know. The cars
Yeah.
were huge. I
Yeah.
know. We haven't seen any track limits this year, huh? In the whole three races we've seen.
Give it time. But
I
no,
know.
I think in practice they've
And
or yeah, yeah.
I haven't
Or in
watched all the
quali or
practice
something.
sessions.
But no, it
Yeah.
hasn't been as big of a deal because I think the cars are just they're smaller. So,
Yep.
and the tires obviously had to get changed, but
Yep. And
okay.
they're also going to push back one last thing because I think this one relates very much to Lewis Hamilton. We know how the FIA treats Lewis. One of the
Different
things,
set of rules.
exactly, they want to push back against the trivial penalties that they have started like piling up against drivers. And one of them is the penalty that they get for swearing on the
Oh,
radio and the penalty for wearing jewelry.
good. Please be done with that.
I know, it's so stupid. So anyway, I'm excited. We'll see what comes out of those.
I'm like,
But
okay, I don't even know why they ever cared about swearing. They bleep it in the broadcast anyway.
I know. And
You're
also
telling
like,
me that if I'm driving a toda
and
madre,
I know,
I'm
like
not
that
gonna
is,
let an F-bomb
no, literal, es, yo no, cuando estoy estresada,
Oh, se me
es
sale todo.
en todos los idiomas que conozco. Voy a estar diciendo cosas que no debo y déjenme en paz. Like, let me live.
What's your favorite bad word in Chilean Spanish? I would need to know.
Oh, well, there's only one that every Chilean, and I can never pronounce it right because it's like muy chileno, pero es concha tu madre.
Concha tu madre? Like
That's like
chinga
what
tu madre?
it's basically that. Yeah.
Concha tu madre. Okay.
Concha tu madre.
Concha
Yeah.
tu
But we might have
madre.
to bleep it out because it is very offensive
Perdón.
in their culture. Porque chinga tu madre is like, I don't know, but it has that like, Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm fed up, but okay, it's
Yeah.
different. It's different. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one.
Okay, so I love that. Okay, so to recap, in addition to revisiting, it's stewards and marshals,
hmm
and then it's stupid penalties like jewelry and language and track limits.
And track
Yo, I'm all
limits.
about those. I'm about all those three. That's great.
Me too. In addition to all the other new regulation
I
stuff that they
love
have to
that.
talk about. So it's a lot. I
Yeah.
wonder how long
Okay.
those meetings are.
I don't know. I need to, yeah. I was like, maybe Drive to Survive will let us know.
Are they allowed? I don't think they're
I don't
allowed into
know.
those
I don't
meetings,
think so.
huh?
I don't think so. And everything's staged. All those like conversations are staged anyway.
I know.
To be a fly on the wall. That'd be so great.
I know. But anyway, so a lot of stuff happening, even though we don't have any races going on. But by next week, we'll have more chisme to talk about because we'll probably get reports of what happened, what actually was discussed during this meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool.
Kind of one last thing on that. So I feel like Mercedes is obviously on the defensive because they're doing well in this
Yeah,
new era. Toto has so much like sway. I wonder what will actually come of this.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if there's enough loud voices, like you can't just appease the one team, right? They're going to have to do something about it.
But who's his adversary now? Like, I hate Christian Horner, but
Ferrari.
he's not there anymore. Fred Vasseur, I can't see him getting like, I mean, I'm sure he does get angry, but like maybe he
I
does it
don't
all
think
like in the,
it's Fred himself. It is the legacy of Ferrari.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they, even though Mercedes has dominated,
Yeah.
Ferrari still is. I think if you were to stack rank them, I still think they're more prestigious
Well, okay.
historically than Mercedes.
No, they are. But they get like, they get a payout at the end of the year just for being Ferrari because they were like the
Yeah.
flagship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is the FIA like not gonna,
That's true. That's true. That's fair.
that's my take. I could be wrong because Toto is, he's good at what he does, but
He is. I saw something about your team Williams. James Vowles was like, we're going to use every hour of every minute of the next several weeks to like be doing everything that we can.
You better, James. I'll be looking. Don't let
I
me
had
down.
I had such high hopes. They're just like driving around like a fucking tractor out there.
Literal tractor. And they don't get to benefit from this, right? Because they're using the Mercedes. So for them, apparently it's a software deployment issue, plus the weight of the car itself.
Oh God.
So I don't know. I was on TikTok, there was someone that was there was a meme and it was like this like wheel of emotion. It was like, ooh, like Williams, ooh, Do we have a chance? Like, yeah, let's go. And then it just like circles. I was like, are we on the same level of like Ferrari delusional now?
Yeah,
We
you have,
100% are.
yeah, you have to be Delulu.
I know.
Come on,
I know,
come on.
but they have a lot of work to do, Williams. Like I really don't think that they're going. I shouldn't be saying this. I really shouldn't because I'm gonna jinx them. And Sparkles can only do so much. But
Who's the unicorn?
it
So
was so
cute.
cute. I know.
I love it.
But I really don't think like they have a long way. They have a long road ahead of them.
Yeah, I feel really bad. You were talking about this last week. I just feel really bad for Carlos and Alex
Me
Albon.
too. They've
They're
put
like
in so
such
much
phenomenal.
work.
Well, they're also just like such good drivers, and they're just
I
kind of like wasting away. But like, there's when seats
know.
open up, and like when you have a chance to like move, it's
I
just
had
so
a
tough.
not so much a dream, but I woke up in my sleep last night, because I told you I only slept like 4 hours. One of the things that kept me up, I was like, I will say this on the podcast.
Say it. Tell the people.
Give Alex a freaking podium already. That man deserves a podium. He's put in the work, and he doesn't need to be another Nico that has to go how many seasons without seeing a podium. Like, justice for Alex.
So
He
sad.
deserves a podium. And if there's one thing that I needed to say today, is Alex needs a podium.
He does. He
He
does.
does.
He does.
He's carried that team in the last couple of years. He deserves it.
He's stuck through it with them, through thick
I
and
know.
thin. Yeah.
And I really like him and Lily. They're so cute.
Oh yeah.
So adorable.
It's really cute. The wags. Okay,
The
we
wags.
didn't talk about this. I saw an old TikTok of their China outfits and all of them ate and I love them all. But
Not
you
all
know
of them. There's one I don't like.
Kelly PK?
Well, no, she's not really around that much anymore.
I don't like her very much. Okay, but I love Carmen had this. Okay, I love Adidas. I love their like streetwear and like their clothing. She had this like Adidas jacket that was like I guess like Chinese-esque with like little ties right here. It was so
Cute.
cool. I was like,
Are they
I want to
selling
buy
it?
that. I don't know. I didn't look. It's gonna be like a fuck ton of money.
I was going to ask you, okay, totally deviating from what we said we were going to talk about. What do we do about merch? Because it is really expensive. And I'm seeing that there's so many brands now that sell F1 merch. Did you know Hollister has an entire F1 line?
Yeah, so does my favorite store, Abercrombie.
Abercrombie.
Yeah. Yeah, the F1 merch is so expensive and I used to just buy it at the track and it's like ridiculous. And like the other thing is like it's all European sizing
Yeah.
and that doesn't work on me.
I
So
have
then you just like
Chi-Chi's. So, you know what? European sizing ain't for us.
it's really not. But there's yeah, I like this brand called Furious Motorsport and they
Mm-hmm.
do like baseball crop tops. It's
Baseball
like
cut
the baseball
tees.
tees. They make long ones, but
Mm-hmm.
they make crop ones. And I have one of like Lewis during his days at Mercedes, and then I have two for Ferrari. But those are like very like sporty. And so I would like something else. So I am also like on the lookout for other stuff. And the thing too that I think is hard is that like a lot of times I just like what they make for like I think men have such cooler like they always get the cooler seats.
Always.
They always
I
get the
know.
cooler stuff. And then like whenever manufacturers make something for women, they like make it like overly sexy or like ill-fitting. And
Or
I'm
it's
like
always pink. It's always like in these very
or
like
that like
the
silhouette.
I know. I'm like, give me a box tee. Your girl does
Yeah.
not have hips either, by the way. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was like
don't be slim cutting me.
I know. Yeah.
I like loose. I usually buy all my t-shirts in the men's section.
I love that. I
Hmm.
just started getting like bigger boxy tees, but yeah, the F1 merch. It didn't
Yeah,
I yeah.
it looks really cute, but some of it, I know Puma has like a pretty cool line with the
Oh,
Ferrari
it's cool.
stuff, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know.
We've been talking about this separately, but there's like a bunch of like creators that make their own stuff. Just I'm
The
like
coolest.
it's come up more and more like I like to get my nails done. You had like that
Hmm.
Williams nails person. There's this girl
Yes.
that like knit a cardigan and like the whole
Yes.
back of the cardigan is like the entire grid. And then
It's
there's
so
that
cool.
one girl that's going to make a new fit or like a new piece for every race inspired
Yeah.
by the race. And she's made
And
really
it's
cool stuff.
And it's not just like a simple piece. It's like hand embroidered, hand sewn, hand imprinted, like custom lino cut. Like it is
Super cool.
seriously so cool. I also saw this content creator who started selling these really, I think I told you about her. She does these really cute t-shirts with hand beaded like car designs. So she has like a
Cute.
little Ferrari and it's just these beautiful, beautiful beading. But anyway,
I love that.
I'm like the male content creators could never because these girlies are like seriously popping off with their
I love
talent.
it.
I
I
love
love
it.
it. Me
It's
too.
so cool.
It is. Well, because the female viewership has really grown significantly. I saw this
I
thing.
know.
I should have, before mentioning it, I should probably dive into the article a little bit more, but it was talking about like beauty brands like in F1 and how they've
Yeah.
seen like that market increase and grow.
Yeah,
And I'm about it because when I used to go to the races like in 2015, I was like always like the only woman for the most part.
really. That makes me sad.
Yeah, I didn't mind too much though, but like that now, like the last race that we went to in like 2021, so many women. And I was
So
like, this
many
is so
women.
cool. Yeah.
And I wonder how much more, I mean, the world of F1 is going to continue changing in that direction. But I loved seeing the sponsors for the F1 Academy team. So we
Yeah,
have the Sephora
I know. I
team
love it.
now. And then
Oh,
before then,
that's
it
what
was
I
the
saw.
Charlotte Tilbury.
That's what I saw. Yeah. Charlotte Tilbury.
Yep,
That stuff is good.
it is good. But anyway,
I need to
before you know
see,
it, before
I
you
need to
know it,
see Fenty. I need to see Rihanna get
you're
on some
right.
F1 shit. Come on, girl. We know you
Yeah,
got the money.
what are you doing, Rihanna? We know.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, Rihanna, sponsor a team.
Oh,
Please,
let,
please.
please, let's do
I
it.
know. She's missing out on that untapped demographic.
I know.
She should come up with like even just like a little like a line, like a little palette.
Of like lipsticks,
Yeah.
of
Or even
liquid.
like nail no, she doesn't do nail polish. Or maybe
Mm.
like eyeshadow or something.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine like a Ferrari themed one. I could see that
Total
because of all the reds and the
red.
bold. Yeah. Or even like
Well, you're like a Williams girly and you
Williams.
love blue.
I do love blue.
All like the cool pigments you could do. Come on, we're
Mhm.
giving free advice to all these. Like if they're
Sponsor
listening,
us.
as if they're listening. Sponsor
Sponsor us.
us. Sponsor us.
If you don't want to sponsor FI teams or fun
Yeah.
teams, you can
Yeah. Yeah.
sponsor
Sponsor us.
two humble Latinas.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, speaking of
Carry on.
Ferrari, let's talk about Lewis's new race engineer.
Yes, Cedric Michael Grosjean. He is in no way related to Romain Grosjean, former F1 driver.
Yep.
I'm going to call him CMG.
Mm-hmm.
CMG was previously at McLaren and worked with Piastri apparently pretty closely. So I'm really excited for Lewis to have a new race engineer. Ricardo Adami, I think, was his previous engineer. But yeah, like last year was hard
It was
to.
rough. As a bystander listening to those radio conversations,
Terrible.
whoa,
Really bad. Really, really bad.
whoa.
Um, and here's the thing, like I in the beginning was holding out hope because Bono and Lewis, I mean, that's like so much time
Yeah.
spent together. That's like basically coming into like a marriage, right? And
Yep.
like, or like being with a couple that like just has like shorthand and secondhand,
Yeah.
inside lingo. And so like you
Yep.
were not gonna ever have that immediately. But that coupled with like the Ferrari culture shocks and just like, I don't know. Ferrari is just like they're like very rigid and they only do things a certain way. And so I was just really surprised at how little improvement there was over time.
I was very disappointed in Ferrari because why go and bring one of the most iconic, most
Hard.
experienced drivers into your struggling team? Yes, you're Ferrari, but you have struggled for a long time and you're not willing to change your culture, the way you work, the way you communicate.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. it's such a wasted opportunity. And it, like, perfect example was that relationship with the race engineer and Lewis. And I listened to, again, I was listening to other podcasts about like how critical race engineers are. And it was really interesting. I listened to this one with Shogun Yo and his race engineer when he was at Alfa Romeo. And so a while ago, Joe mentioned how with the new cars and this like hybrid mode and all of the additional features that they have to deploy, they were like, we literally could not drive without a race engineer. They're like
Yeah.
absolutely critical for their performance. And then they were also talking about the balance of talking too much versus not talking enough,
Enough.
talking at the wrong time versus the right time, understanding the psyche of the driver, of knowing like when they need that extra little push to like, really max out the car's potential, or honestly, just like being so neutral that they're monotone. Like one of the questions was like, it would drive me nuts if I just did something really amazing and my race driver was like, congratulations, like good job, mate. Just like
Yeah.
monotone. But apparently the race engineers get training to
Oh, I didn't know
be
that.
like super like level, because they were like, we don't want you to project like and over excite the driver because there's already so much going on. They were like, we're trained to just like be steady, but at the end of the day, he's like, it's chemistry.
Yeah. Well, race
It's
engineers, like to
chemistry.
your point, I think are, I've always kind of thought of them as like therapists kind of for the drivers because you do
Yeah.
really have to understand that person so deeply and like
Yep.
know when to push them, when to not. I was also listening to other podcasts, but I think I mentioned this in the last podcast where like Cadillac did like a lot of like prep work to in
Mhm.
preparation for this year and they basically did like two mock, no, maybe it was like one. It was like one mock practice like race. And the race engineer was like, oh, that was really helpful for me because, but he was basically saying that it was helpful to get like a sense of like what the drivers need and their personalities over
Mhm.
the radio to like know what to do in the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously, the communication was just like a huge issue here. The other thing that just like, remember, F1 is like a global sport. And a lot of these drivers, I mean, with well, Lewis is like not, this doesn't matter for him, but like a lot of these drivers are racing in English, but it's like their second
English is their second
language.
language.
And so like, and then like the race engineers and like all of the engineers with the team, it's also their second language
Yep.
sometimes too. So there's the additional complicating factor of like language challenges. Actually, that might have been an issue for Ferrari and
I
Lewis.
think so. And Joe actually talked about it. He's like, because there's no, like, I couldn't speak in Mandarin, right? And sometimes, like, when you're in this heightened state, like, you gravitate towards your
Ele,
first.
like you were
So,
saying.
exactly. But he was like, you have to agree. He's like, you literally have meetings and you agree on how you're going to say things. You also have to say things in the fastest way possible because, again, this is a sport that is measured by hundredths of a second.
Yeah,
So, they're like, you can't use long sentences. So you have to agree on like the lingo, like what words you're going to use. Obviously, English is like the universal language that they
yeah,
use because they're all so multicultural and multilingual. But I was like, I would have never thought of like all of these challenges that
I
come
know.
with just, and the race engineer too. He was like, I'm listening to 20 people at the same time. There's an engineer that is tracking every aspect of the car and they're relaying to me what
What you could
I
then filter onto the driver. Yeah.
exactly. And he's like, so you're also just kind of like, can you imagine, Amanda?
Can you
I
imagine?
would be so overstimulated.
Yeah, there's no way. There's
I
no way.
couldn't
I
do it.
wonder if afterwards they just like go sit like in a quiet room.
That's what I need.
There's no way I could do that. Like that's like that's so overwhelming. I get like overwhelmed when like the dog is barking, my husband's talking, my daughter's talking, and the TV's too loud, and like the vent for the for the oven's on. I'm like, it's too loud in here.
Cuando vaya a la casa de mis papás
Oh my
y
God.
están todos ahí y todos
Loud.
están hablando a la misma vez,
No, no puedo.
I
No puedo.
zone out. I'm like, I have no idea what anybody just said for the last 20 minutes because I immediately start dissociating. I was like, I
I
can't keep
know.
track.
It's just like la da 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 da.
And my husband, he's the same way. He's like, this is too much because he's Latino, but he's from a small family. Before I know it, he's nowhere to be found. I was like, ya se escapó. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ya me
it's so funny.
acostumbré. Like I used to not be like that, but I think we're not like by our extended family anymore. And I'm just overload. So anyway, I could never be for
I
one
could
of the
never be a
other
race
many
engineer.
reasons that I could never be a race engineer.
If it
um,
wasn't for that,
if it wasn't for that, you
wasn't for
know.
that,
Um,
you'd find me at a racetrack.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Also, this is later on the agenda, but with people swapping, so like CMG moving over to Ferrari. There was
Hmm.
speculation about this, but I
Yeah,
didn't really see it. I feel like there's like a little bit of like silly season
I
happening, like a little bit
know.
early. So there's speculation of like Aston Martin's new team principal. So potentially,
¿Quién es
allegedly,
Binotto?
he's now Audi.
Oh, sorry, did you say Aston Martin or Audi?
Aston Martin.
Okay, okay, never mind.
Yeah, yeah. So remember, okay, so like Aston Martin, potential like new team principal, because remember last week, Lawrence Stroll issued his word soup statement about
Yes,
Adrian Newey and like all these things.
yes.
There's been rumored, heavily rumored, and speculated that Jonathan Wheatley, who was previously at Audi, and
Who
then
I
kind of
really
like,
liked.
yeah, okay, when I saw him on Drive to
Okay, at least
Survive,
Drive to Survive version of him.
yes, I was like, this man is so
Oh,
nice.
nice.
He's too nice to be an F1. That's
I
literally what I
know.
told my husband. I was like, he's way too nice to be an F1. He also like cares too much about his drivers.
I know.
And what is so funny, Drive to Survive is they're so snarky. They would do like a Christian Horner
Yes.
shot and then like a
Against,
Jonathan Wheatley. And you're
yeah.
like, you get this like juxtaposition of
Stark
these like,
difference.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the rumor is that he's now going to be the new team boss over at Aston Martin. And apparently,
Mhm.
allegedly, him and Adrian Newey were working like pretty well together when Adrian Newey came in, and then he departed in March.
Mhm.
Jonathan did, and so apparently he might be going over to Aston Martin, which will be really interesting to see how
Interesting.
he interacts with a character like Lawrence Stroll.
I will be honest with you, Amanda. I don't know anything about Lawrence
He seems like
Stroll.
an asshole, is
He
all.
seems a little bit like a Fabio, right?
Yes,
Gives
yes,
that
yeah, yeah.
similar vibe.
Yep.
And like, how would he do with Lance? Because I don't also get a read of any personality from Lance.
I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
know. And Fernando is a little chaos demon.
What did he say?
Pues no sé, ¿qué va a decir?
Oh yeah, he is a chaos demon. You're right.
Fernando does what he wants, is essentially like, so I don't know that it matters who is in that team principal position. He's going to defy orders if he feels like it's needed. And who's going to say no to him? He is the number one driver right now. So he's going to do what he sees fit. And he's the only one that has almost finished a full race.
Yeah. So that's like some drama. And then you mentioned him earlier, but Mattia Binotto took over for Audi. In my brain, I call him Italian Harry Potter because of his
Because he looks
glasses.
like that.
Yeah.
Bien redonditos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was at Ferrari for like a really long time.
Right
And then
before Fred.
yeah, he took over for Arriva Bene, but
Was he a good team principal? I feel like he wasn't.
Mattia,
Yeah, for Ferrari.
yo creo que no le dieron tiempo.
He was there for what, 3 years or something?
Yeah. And Arriva Bene kind of like messed everything up, I feel like. And so I don't know. I just think that there was like, I remember that there was like a lot it seemed like there was like a lot to redo, and they didn't give him enough time to really do what he needs to do. Like, it's hard, I think, to do like a turnaround in F1 in 3 years. I mean, it's like they want you to, and it's like
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. Then it was also really interesting that they chose like Fred Vasseur to
I
take
know.
over. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I also am just kind of glad to see Mattia like back in the mix because I also I liked him a little bit.
He
But
seemed
yeah,
chill. He didn't stand out to me, but I didn't
calm
really
and
know
collected.
because we
Yeah,
didn't see too much of him like really at
yeah.
Ferrari. But I heard him and Charles would butt heads quite a bit, and I don't
Mm,
know
I didn't know that.
how true that is, but I don't know. And I don't know how happy Leclerc is right now if he's having to bring in his own team to do data analysis. Like,
Let's
what is
talk
going
about
on? What's going on at Ferrari, right? Like, first of all, are they even? I have never heard of a driver doing this. Have
me
you? Is it?
neither. No, no, I have never heard of this.
How are they allowed to do this? I just feel like
I
that
don't
seems
know.
really weird. And I didn't even read too much about it because I was just kind of like taken by surprise that Ferrari would even allow that.
Well, I think they're looking at all like publicly like available data, right? Like they're not,
Is
I
it
think,
publicly available though?
pues
The
quién sabe.
telemetry, no,
Oh,
there's no way
yeah.
the telemetry. ¿Qué es lo que están haciendo? O sea, ¿qué es lo que están estudiando? Entiendo. Pero Leclerc must be really like not having it if he's like, I want my own people to see what the current Ferrari team is not finding for me.
Gives que no tiene confianza in the
Yeah.
team.
Do you blame him though?
No. I don't blame him at all. I think that it's just surprising that he would do that and invest the resources. And like you said, that
Yeah,
it would get like allowed. But I was like, what a genius move to
I
be like,
know.
y'all aren't doing what I need you to do. Like I'm gonna hire my own people and we're gonna look at this.
Well, I
But I'm
wonder
like, pero
if that's
que
going
like
to set a precedence for other drivers to do the same when they feel like,
maybe.
you know, when they're like, you know, I'm the, let's say I'm driver number two and I know my performance is better and I'm going to hire my people to substantiate like what I feel is true.
At the end of the day, the team has to agree to do whatever. Like I kind of want to know like what does he want to happen out of
Yeah,
here? What's like the desired outcome? Because like, okay, so you give this, say you give Fred and team. Are they gonna be like, yeah, let's
they're like, cool.
implement this? Or they're like, cool, thanks, bye. I'm glad you spent millions of dollars. Like, I don't know, like what happens at that point, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. That's why I'm so confused
I don't
by
know.
it. I'm going to have to read more about it, but I also read that and I was like, I don't even know if that's true because I don't believe there's a way that Ferrari would give them that level of access to their data.
The the people, the sources like that are like reporting on it like are pretty credible.
Yeah,
I Yeah, I don't know. It is really
I don't know.
strange. Okay, speaking of unhappy Leclerc, and in like this is also is not on the agenda, but like silly season. So with all of the moving around of well, like
The team
essentially like team
principals and stuff.
principals,
Yeah.
and then people only like then like Max being like really unhappy and kind of like threatening to leave F1, and then looking at like driver contracts that like are up at the end of this season. There's like speculation on like who goes where. Will Max leave? If he does, like what happens? Like does he leave the sport entirely? Does he move to a different team? And then obviously that opens up like if one person is loose, then that opens up like the musical
For
chairs for
everything.
everything else.
Yep. So what happened with Lewis? He set off the silly
I
season when
know.
he
I
left
know.
Mercedes.
I know. Yeah. So, I think like we're too early in the season for that, but there already is like talk of like
Were
well,
you
what
trying to
if
say whether Leclerc would go to Mercedes or to Red Bull? Isn't it till 2027 or
2029 or
something
so?
like that?
Yeah,
God, that's even longer than I
something
thought.
crazy. And
Yeah,
also, ¿por qué siempre dicen que Ferrari es un dream?
because it's the most iconic team. It
See,
just is.
yes, but they don't have the track record to fucking back it up, like
I
in recent
know.
history.
I know.
Anyways,
I know.
that
But
aside,
he comes from the Ferrari program.
yes, that's
Por
yeah.
eso. Por eso.
He
That's
was
his
like,
in.
they gave me like the
Yeah.
opportunity, yada yada yada. So then they were like, if Lewis is unhappy and leaves, like, is it then like Leclerc and Ollie that are like
Hmm.
the Ferrari? And then, then that opens up everything for everyone else. But kind of like Michoka when reporters ask like fucking stupid, they're not stupid questions, but when they ask questions like that, like, I'm like, it is the beginning of the season. He had like a little bit of
No.
success, not a little bit, like he's had like a good, like what, this is his second year. And then they're already like, so, what are your dreams to like, everyone wants to be on a fucking good team. That's why they're there. Like,
Of course.
it's kind of like drives me a little crazy when they ask those kinds of questions because I think it just like sets off like, I don't know. Like when they were asking Kimmy about like, so do you think the championship? It's like, of course he wants to win the championship, but it's also only three
Three
races in.
races. I know. I know. I can see why Max like has it with the media
Totally,
at times
totally.
because they do ask some really asinine questions and it's kind of like you know exactly what you know what a driver would say. Like they just want the quote, they want the tagline,
Yeah,
and they love the speculation.
yeah,
You know, they
yeah.
love going off speculation. And I will say though, like everyone keeps talking about Ollie because they're also talking about Esteban of how he's outperforming Esteban,
Yeah.
how they're like, is should Esteban
Ya es
be
tiempo que se va.
retiring?
Ya es tiempo que se va. Also, I'm not
I
a
know.
fan of his, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
I like his storyline. Like he also comes from like a poor family that literally gave up everything that they had to see him, you know, fulfill his dreams of being an icon.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of cats, which I like because I have a cat.
Not a cat girl,
I love
but
animals. I
I love
love
that you love animals.
animals. I love animals. But it reminded me of Danny Ricardo because the whole conversation around like
Yes.
when should you walk away? And I don't know if you watched this interview, but the CEO of Ford interviewed him and it was a great little short interview, I think, but you know, he basically posed the question as like I talked to this other race driver, an Indy driver, and he told me that he knew he had to retire because when his team and his engineers asked him like what changes do you want to the car for this race weekend, he said nothing. He was like none, like I'm good driving it as is. And he was like the moment you know you don't want to change something to improve it, like you should walk away. And he asked Danny like when did you know, like when would you recommend like people, you know, make that decision? Because it was a really hard one for Danny. I think we were all kind of aghast at the way he was let go. We all, I think, saw it coming. I think the writing was on the wall, but the way that he was pushed out just, oh, it like stabbed me in the heart. Honestly, like that hurt to see the pain in his face. He knew he was going to get let go.
Yeah.
And the fact that somebody else made the decision for him is, I think, what was painful about it
Rather than it being on his terms.
rather than it being on his
Yeah.
terms. And he did say, like, if you already know that you're struggling, he's like, isolate yourself from all the people that love you because they're the ones
I
that
saw
keep
that part. Yeah.
putting the voices
Like
in
you
your
can
head,
do
like,
it.
keep doing, you can do it. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, you got to be real with yourself
Yeah.
and be like, do I still have it in me? Do you still want this? Are you still motivated enough? And are you still having fun? Like
Yeah.
for him, I love Danny Ricardo. Like, I know he wasn't like this, like the most like prestigious driver, but one of the things that he did, and he talked about this, he consciously said he wanted to change the sport because he felt it was too buttoned up. And ain't that the
He's
truth?
so
And
great.
he
Yeah.
did. And
He's
he
so
did.
great. He paved the way for a lot of other people. And then I
He
think
did.
too, like Vettel was also really funny.
Vettel. I know. Vettel was also a little chaos demon,
Yes, he was. Um,
and we love him for it.
okay, but on the Daniel Ricciardo Ocon thing, in that same category of like done a bunch of races, not a lot of podiums, is Nico Hulkenberg.
I know.
But he has found a steady seat. And so I'm like, what? He's also like, he's also, people always say like he's like super old. He's only like 38 or 39.
No está tan viejito, está jovencito como
I know,
nosotros.
but they make him sound like he's
Like
the
he's
abuelo of
old.
the yeah.
No.
But he's another one though that has, I guess, kind of like a similar lack of trajectory or like, but there's a totally different conversation being had about him
I know.
versus like a Ricardo or an Ocon. So I don't know. I think like that's like really, really interesting.
What
And
is
I
it
wonder,
about what is it about the media? What do they see in the drivers that differentiates them of like the potential of remaining an F1? I don't truly understand it.
it must be something, I don't know, like my thought is like maybe it's like something to do with like the off track, not like marketing value, but like
Mm.
the insights that they bring.
It's
I
got
don't
to be
know.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's interesting
It
that
is
they're
interesting. And it's a little sad too that like things so out of your control dictate the trajectory of your career.
okay. So on that, like I think too, if Williams doesn't turn around, then it's also kind of like the same situation for Alex and
And
Carlos. Like
Carlos.
Carlos has been on a bunch of different teams, and like, where do you go? And like, you haven't been able to like demonstrate what your capabilities are because you have a clunker of a car.
I know.
It's really sad. But also at the same time, I'm like, go off and ride into the sunset and do some other kind of racing. And like, there's only so many seats in F1. Like, let the next generation have a shot.
I know. I will say, like, I think that's where I'm kind of like, I know we love Lewis, but I feel like the Lewises, the Fernandos, like, they've had their glory. They've
Fernando
had
ya se tiene que ir.
Fernando está más que pasadito.
Mm.
He's not old, like in life terms, but
No,
in
pero
career
ya se
terms,
retiró y
y
regresó. I'm
volvió.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? You said
yeah,
goodbye.
I know.
Stay gone.
Do you really think that Ferrari is going to renew their contract with Lewis?
I don't know.
I don't think they will.
You don't do you think ¿tú crees que gastaron tanto dinero nomás para 2 años?
Yeah.
Crazy to me.
Look, if you paid that much money to not make him your number one driver, then you're not pushing for him to get that championship that he wants. And he is not their number one driver right now. It'll always be Leclerc. So I think they did it for the marketing. I think they did it. I mean, it's a great business
Pero Ferrari
deal.
no necesita más marketing. They're Ferrari.
They always want more marketing. That's why they're the pinnacle, even when they're a shit team.
That's why they're the pinnacle of motorsport.
That's why they're the pinnacle of motorsport because they have all the money. Exactly. It's
That's
like
true. That's true.
that's my hot take for that. And I think there's still a lot of season left.
Yeah.
There's still so much left in the season, but I honestly feel like I would be so surprised if Ferrari signed him up because of the fresh bloods like Ollie that still
Yeah.
have years to give to the sport.
Yeah. That's so true. That's true. Dang.
I know.
It's where all the great careers go to die. This is what fucking
Te
happened to
digo.
Vettel. This is what happened to Vettel.
Yeah,
God
and it
damn.
sucks. And it sucks because I really truly believe Lewis deserves his eighth championship. But
Yeah.
until Ferrari helps and makes that decision, and they're like, look, we only have him for 1 year. Let's push, let's get him that championship. If that's what it takes to get them back into that position of like winning a world championship, they should do it.
Yeah.
They don't like, are they doing it for Leclerc? Like, tampoco.
Mm-hmm. Well, they need to not crash into each other. So,
Which
they
is going to
need to-
happen.
I know. We'll
It's
see.
going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see. They have time to talk about all these things.
I know. I know. I know you love Lewis. I know you would
know.
watch him forever in the sport.
You know, there's a time when it's like, okay, we gotta go, you know? So,
Do you think it's this year for Lewis, or you think he still has like another couple years in him?
okay, so he got rid of Angela Cullen. Is that her last name? Angela?
His trainer,
Yeah, she's back.
she's back.
Yeah, and so I'm like, when he got rid of her, I was okay, maybe you should just like be done. Or maybe like, actually, I don't know if he got rid of, I don't know if like maybe she also was kind of tired of it. She had been kind of, she's like a core person to him, right? And
Yeah.
so I don't know, like I thought like when all of that kind of shifted and then when she came back, I'm like, okay, he's like in it, like he's ready. I'm like, let's go. But I can also see him like not wanting to, no one wants to leave on a low point, but like this sport is so tough that like
It's not up to you.
it's not
It's
up
not
to,
up to
yeah,
the
it's not up to you
driver.
at all. Yeah. So I don't
They
know.
don't write their own destiny as much as talented as they are. Like it's really out of their control at times.
So much is out of their control. 100%.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's yet to be seen, but I don't know. I don't think Ferrari will give him another year. I'm not saying I don't want them to. I'm just saying I don't think they.
But maybe he doesn't care because he's going to be on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
No, it's Keeping Up with the Hamiltons with his new cow named Max.
Oh my God. Him and Kim.
No. Are we going to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk
The
about it 'cause
elephant
it's
in the room.
all over. He posted her on Instagram. And his like Tokyo drifting. She's at the
No.
end. It was such a. Okay, we've talked about this, people. Lisa and I have like texted about this. We don't like it, but like I kind of understand it because they're both like very public people. They're both like really big. Like,
And Lewis has a type.
she looks like Nicole Scherzinger.
100%.
100%. Who is like my OG fave wag. Like they have a lot in common.
Look, on paper, it makes sense. The
Kind of.
checklist
Kind of. because I'm like,
Okay,
it's Kim Kardashian.
on some terms on paper, not all the terms on paper. I think the things that make Lewis bigger than F1, those things about his view of the world, his
Yeah,
social justice, his fight for inclusion, like all of those things, I'm just kind of like, what?
yeah, 100%.
And that's why I love Lewis. Like he's bigger than the sport.
Yeah,
And that's for me that's why it just doesn't add up. The math ain't
yeah.
mathin' for me.
I know. But on every like they're like fashion people. They all have like they both like have like a bunch of million different interests.
Oh,
They're
so
like
it's gonna be like, oh, but they never see each other.
I think maybe that's why
Match made in heaven. Maybe that's what
but
works.
no, but I think that that's why like I think I was telling you this. I think that's why it could work because like they're both equally fulfilled in their own ways and like if they can be together when they can be together and it's fun, then like that makes sense, right? I don't know, maybe she's not as vapid as we think she is. I mean, she did try to be a lawyer and has helped people get off like death row and stuff like that. So, and get their sentences, what's the word? Shortened or whatever. I mean, there's that, but I don't know. I just also think that like he's like a really grounded and like rooted person and she's just not. And then there's the Kardashian curse, And so, but I was telling my friend, I was like, maybe they cancel out the Kardashian curse and the Ferrari curse, like cancel each other out.
That's what the
Maybe,
media says. It might cancel out.
maybe if like maybe if he's happy, he like performs better. I like someone was saying, I forget if it was like Bono or no, it wasn't Bono. He would never say this. It was someone else. It was like when Lewis and Nicole were like on good terms, he was great. But when they weren't, then it was really hard to like rein him in, and get him on track. But like he was also a lot younger then.
I know. I
Yeah,
was like, es un hombre de 40 años. Like, get it together, Lewis.
I know, I know, I know.
And I'm not gonna harp on this, but you know how I feel about Kim K.
I'm like, is this like a PR relationship? Like, is this like a Kendall Jenner Benito situation? Like, I don't
That's how it feels to me.
like what's going on.
That's how it feels to me. I feel
Is
like
she
it's
gonna
very
launch?
opportune.
Is she gonna launch Skims for F?
I'm sure there's some sort of like fashion branding that's going to come out of this because
I can
Lewis is
totally see that.
also like deep into the sport. I mean, into fashion.
Yeah, I can
Honestly,
see that.
Lewis's fashion is how I came to the world of Lewis Hamilton
Through the Met, right?
through the Met, through
Yeah,
his partnership with Tommy. And I was like, who is this guy? Like,
yeah,
he's beautiful, stylish, he's an athlete. And I was like, oh my God, Lewis Hamilton. I was just watching races just for Lewis, just for Lewis. Like, I didn't care about Mercedes. I didn't care about anything. I'm like, who's this guy? Porque está guapito, pero,
Oh, I
oh,
know. He's
no
beautiful.
sé.
I know. Okay, well,
I
we'll
don't
have to
know.
see. We'll have to see. It's his life.
It's his life. I just don't want to see it broadcasted.
The internet is like of two minds. Like people
I
are
know.
like, some people are like, oh, and other people are like, yay.
I know, I know. And I feel bad. I do feel bad because we are so up in their business. Like, can you imagine someone always like de metiche, siempre de chisme en mí?
Yeah, I couldn't handle that. So no se meten en mi chisme.
No se metan, no se metan, no sean metiches
I know.
en mi vida. Yeah, because there's people like knocking down doors trying to like learn about my personal
Yeah,
life.
I mean, maybe in the future. Fame.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay, so there's no racing happening,
Not for a
but
while.
there is driving happening. So
Yes.
Pirelli is having tire testing. I love the way that they spell tire in
I know with the
British.
Y. It reminds
Tire.
me of very like Game of Thrones, like with the Ys.
Yes, 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 it does. It's very like
Targaryen of them.
so Red Bull and Racing Bulls did some driving like right after
Mhm.
Suzuka. They did it, yeah. And then we have a wet tire. I'm reading my notes. We had a wet tire testing going on this week, April 9th, for Ferrari at Fiorano.
Fiorano.
Fiorano. And then Mercedes and McLaren are going to go to the Nürburgring, which is so cool.
That is such a cool track. I only know this race because I watched Max do his GP race, his GT3
Oh,
race.
yeah.
Not too.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so cool.
But they got disqualified, right? They
I
got their
know.
win taken away.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so Mercedes and McLaren will be over there at the Nürburgring April 14th through the 15th. And then speaking of like side quests, so Max obviously does like a bunch of other racing aside just from
Hmm.
F1, which really makes me think that like he's just sick of F1. He's not sick of racing. So we'll probably still see him do other things, but he's just like really good at everything else. But
Yeah.
he is also going to do, oh my gosh, they did the GT3 racing. He's racing in a Mercedes,
Hmm.
but they got disqualified for something. I forget what.
They did too many tire swaps.
Oh
Speaking of
God.
tires, yeah. I was
Really?
like, how do you lose track? That's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, it had to do with too many, I think, tire swaps,
Wow.
which
Okay.
is crazy. But it's
Wasn't
really
someone
cool
checking
about the
that?
whole tire testing because there's a couple new races on the race calendar, and Pirelli has not tested on those tracks. So they have no data on how the tires are going to perform in like Barcelona.
Hmm.
Wait, what's the other new racetrack?
Is it
I know
Madrid? No,
it
that's a new
was,
one.
yeah, Madrid is a new one. Sorry, not Barcelona. But Suzuka redid their asphalt. So they had to like redo testing
Oh,
for
that's right.
Suzuka. So I think it's really cool. Plus, the tires are smaller this season.
Yes.
And they don't, I heard just because they're smaller, there's less surface area for the heat to transfer, right? Because physics, they get hotter faster and the cars are going faster, right? So I'm like, ooh, is the tire degradation going to be a huge game changer for these races?
We shall
We'll see.
see.
We
We
shall
shall
see.
see.
I love
Yeah.
tires. I love strategies. One of my
So
favorite things about
cool.
the sport.
I know you love it.
I know.
Speaking of Max, he's gonna do the 24 hours of
Le Mans.
Nürburgring in May.
Oh, in
Um,
May. Weren't him, Vettel, and Alonso gonna do the 24-hour Le Mans? Also,
Potentially.
I heard rumors about that. When is the race actually?
Well, Nürburgring 24 hours is a different race, I think.
Yeah,
That one is in May. So yeah, he's just kind of out there collecting all kinds of little side quests.
I think he
But you're
just
right.
likes driving.
He, yeah, I know. I think he just, yeah, obviously he loves it. So that's really cool. And kind of on a similar note, my least favorite driver, Lance Stroll. I have never on the redes come across a Lance Stroll stan.
Me either. You know how at the end of the year they do the little Secret Santa every
Yeah.
year? They were like, Lance gives the most thoughtful
Gifts.
gifts.
Yeah.
And I always feel so bad because I'm like, I'm sure he's so nice. We all know he's only doing this to please daddy. He doesn't get to fulfill his real dreams of whatever that may be.
I think it was tennis, is what he said in Drive to Survive. But he is going to do the GT World Challenge
He
Europe.
is?
Yes, later this month, I think they're gonna race at Paul Ricard in France, and he's gonna
Dang.
race an Aston Martin Vantage GT3. Maybe like that will be what he wants to do going forward, and he might. I'm curious to see how he does.
I
He,
hope he finds
yeah,
something outside of F1 because I know this sounds harsh, but I think that's a seat that is deserved by a better driver. And the fact
facts.
that your dad is the reason why you are there, that you continue to be there, like, I want to hear him say F1 was my dream. And then I'll shut up.
Yeah. No, I feel
Until
100.
then, I'm like, we all know he doesn't want to be there. We don't think he should be
Yeah.
there. And yeah.
No, okay. This is why he doesn't have fans because everyone else knows that that seat should be given to someone else that has better skills.
Could be
So
Yuki. I don't know. Could be anyone.
Yuki, yeah, or like anyone,
Anyone.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't really follow other like racing series outside of F1. Sometimes Formula E, rarely F2, but
Yeah. I don't
yeah.
either.
But now that like I just want to see what happens. I'm gonna keep some tabs on him on that.
Honestly, ever since the GT3, because I also watched Max when it was last year, because he needed to get his permit and he entered the race under his stupid like moniker, like an alias. But I watched the race and it was so interesting to watch. It was very cool. And I was like, oh, okay, there's other motorsports. I
Yeah,
get it.
I used to watch NASCAR back in the day with my dad. It's just really boring.
Yeah, I never got into Rascar.
Yeah, NASCAR. RASCAR. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. Okay, speaking of side quest, Franco Colapinto is gonna do un roadshow in Buenos Aires, where it's basically like him and like I think maybe another driver are gonna basically like race or like drive through the streets of Buenos Aires on April 26th. And he's actually going to drive um, a 2012 car, which is a V8 powered
Oh,
by Renault. So that's going to sound really, really cool. This reminds me of, I keep talking about this, like when F1 first came to Austin. But when F1 first came to Austin, there's this like street, this like main road in Austin that goes straight to like the state capitol. It's called Congress. And they used to bring this kind of thing, like a fan fest, to like the
how
city.
cool.
And this is, I like saw Daniel Ricciardo like up close in person. Red Bull would do like a drag like race like down all the way to Congress and like do like a burnout. But it sounded so cool because like you're downtown with like all these like skyscrapers.
And it just
At
like
that time,
echoes.
they had like the V8
Wow.
and was it V8s? I think it was. But the sound was just like so cool. And they used to do that kind of stuff when they were first trying to like build up Austin. Now Austin's like this big, big spectacle,
Mm,
just like all the other ones. But I like it logistically, it must be like a bitch to like get those cars
I
here and
bet.
all of that and like road closures and all that. But like, I wish they did more stuff like that. Like now I think they do like these like little pop-ups and things. But I'm also really excited for Argentina to have this kind of experience because they used to have a Formula One race there, but they haven't had it in a
Yeah.
while.
And it's been a long time since they had an Argentinian driver.
Driver. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
went to the Auto Sport Museum. They have this museum in Buenos Aires, and we stumbled on it when we were walking back to our hotel. And there's a bunch of old F1 cars
It's so
inside,
cool.
just in perfect condition.
That's
It was
awesome.
honestly, it was really, really cool. I'll share pictures maybe on social media, but I was like, and they had like old ones, like from
Yeah.
probably when F1 got started.
Oh, that's crazy. That's
Um,
so cool.
and they're massive. They're massive, massive. Like you could tell they weigh like a ton. I was like, they probably went like 20 miles an hour. I don't know.
Like
Yeah,
the
little
cars
like box cars.
like the
Yeah,
cars now. Like the cars now.
basically. Yeah, we're back. We've made a full
Full
circle.
circle.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was really cool.
I'm super excited. The like teaser for it looks really cool, and on his like redes, he like was obviously promoting it and seems super excited. And I think for like Latino fans, it's going to be like something really cool. And
I think
I
so.
love that Argentina and other Latinos can like rally around Franco Colapinto, and just
Hmm.
like the way that like a lot of us rallied and cheered for Checo.
Hmm.
Um, it's just cool. It's cool
It
to
is
have that.
cool.
So I'm happy
I
for
love
him.
it. And I always feel so proud of like being a Latina when you see this like camaraderie that unites the like Latinos,
Yeah, I
and
love it too.
we all hate each other until we rally for one, and it's like the best thing ever.
I love it.
I
I
love it.
love, yeah. Okay, also, if we were talking about this, all the F1 drivers were talking about like who's the funniest or something, and no one said Franco Colapinto, and I'm like, it's because they don't
It's the
understand his. I
language.
know.
I swear it has to be a language thing.
He cracks me up.
I don't think I'm as funny in Spanish because como que el sentido del humor no me llegó. Aparte de crecer viendo como Chespirito y El Chavo, like that's a different kind of humor, but you don't develop that like adult humor. And yeah, it makes me so sad because he's very funny.
Because we weren't.
I find him,
I think he's hilarious, but
I
same.
think it's hilarious.
Yeah. When I try to speak in Spanish, I'm like, I'm so much more smarter. I think there's a Sofia Vergara quote where she's like, you don't know how smart I am in Spanish. And then
I
I'm like,
know.
you don't know how smart I am in English.
I know. That's how I feel when I like talk to my husband's friends and his family. I'm like, I swear I'm more articulate than this. I have like a high school vocabulary in Spanish. I've
Stop.
been trying to read more in Spanish though because I really do. Corporate? Oh my God. Okay, so in my previous role, I
Cuidado.
had
Cuidado, que no
I
vamos a hablar de trabajo.
I know, but I had to speak corporate Spanish. It was
¿Cómo? How?
No, I
Okay,
would
but
always be
this is
like, ¿cómo se dice? And they're like this. And I'm like, yes,
okay.
it is a whole different language.
But this is where I go back to the race car drivers and the engineers. Hablan dos o tres idiomas y tienen que traducir en su mente en
Ya.
inglés. That's
Y es
crazy.
tan técnico.
I know. Yo no puedo.
Yo tampoco.
Se me olvidan las palabras. I sound
Yo
stupid.
ni sabía que llantas son neumáticos.
Okay.
No son
Well,
llantas. Bueno, son llantas, pero son neumáticos.
pneumáticos.
Neumáticos.
Pneumáticos.
Neumáticos. Yep.
Hey, we should listen to the race in Spanish and be totally. We should listen to Miami in
How?
Spanish. No sé. I don't know.
De seguro tienen.
Claro que
F1
sí.
TV
Yes.
has to
No,
have,
no,
right?
sí tienen español. Yeah, they do.
Who are the commentators in Spanish? Do we
Oh my
know?
God.
Los Googles, vamos a ver.
F1 Spanish commentators. I want to know, like, I want them to kind of do it. Luis Manuel, Chacho Lopez, and Luis Ramirez. I need to see pictures because tal vez.
Diego Mejía, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Oh, Juan Pablo Montoya. But he's new. He's new for this year. No, who are they? Who are they in Spanish?
If they are anything like the
Like
football,
soccer. I
oh,
know.
I will never
get it.
listen in English again.
I never listened to it. Well, in football, no, never. For the
Mm-mm.
World Cup, for everything else, I have to listen to it in Spanish. We should listen. A ver
Oh,
qué
we
dicen.
have to. I bet you they're
¿Sabes
fun.
qué? Deberíamos de escuchar, deberíamos de ver la carrera de México en español.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said race wrong. It's not carrera. No sé, I don't know.
Sí, es la
I'm saying?
carrera. El Gran Premio.
Todos
El Gran
hemos-
Premio de México.
Don't come for me in my Spanish, people.
Okay, I know we're deviating a little bit, but you know what's a mannerism in Spanish that I love? Que decimos sí.
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 Well, okay, but also like Gen Z does this. It's like, did they get it
Pero-
from Latinos?
Pero que no ellos.
Oh, yeah. No, pero like, no, pero like, yes, click it.
Clock it. That's different.
No, pero
It's
como
not like sí, 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 sí.
Sí, 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 sí.
Sí, sí, sí. And they're like, yeah.
You know, I wish that I would love for the Spanish drivers to, I would love to hear their onboards in Spanish. Or
It
like the
would be
Spanish
so
speaking
good.
drivers. Yeah, it'd be so good. It'd be so good.
So good. They're just so much more expressive. I've seen interviews of like Carlos Sainz
Oh my
in
God.
Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
like,
whole
let this
different
man,
thing.
please,
Yeah.
always. I'm like, you know what? All interview questions should be in their first language, and we should just watch the translation closed caption. I really think it would be such a different like experience for the
Yeah.
drivers and for the audience.
I do love listening to his interviews in Checo too. I mean,
Checo,
when he was spilling the tea, he was spilling it in Spanish.
I know. I feel like you
Just
see a
so-
different side of them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You just feel
That's
more
why I find Franco so funny because I've seen him like there's like videos that get captured of him talking to the other drivers that speak Spanish y las cosas que le salen de la boca or the interviews that he's done for the Argentinian broadcasters.
he's
My God,
not
he's
media
so
trained.
He's
And I don't ever want him to be.
He's our
Yeah.
little feral. He's our
I love
feral
it.
driver.
I love it. Okay, does that cover all the topics? Are we done?
I don't think we covered all the topics we were supposed to. But I think we
Yes,
did.
I think
We did. Look at us. Look at us. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. Wow.
Wow, look at us. We did
Look
it.
at us.
This was only chisme.
I know. Pero hay muchas cosas que están pasando. Y la semana que viene vamos a tener que leer mucho sobre
Mucho homework, mucho tarea.
muchas.
Yeah. I guess this is us signing off. If you
This is signing off.
if you want to, I guess, tell us what you want to hear. Well, because we have several more. When is Miami?
It's in 2 more weeks. We have 3 weeks of this.
Okay, there's 3 more weeks. We have ideas of what we want to talk about. Obviously, there's going to be changes coming up, but if you have a special hot take or something, let us know and we can add it to the list of things to talk about.
I want to hear from the audience what they want to hear us talk more about. What are their favorite content creators? I want to see like who are they listening and following? What are some podcasts? Who are your favorite broadcast commentators? And for the Latino community, who's your favorite Hispanohablante? You know, I'm saying Hispanohablante because we're including Fernando because he speaks Spanish, and we're going to offer that. We're going to offer that. And maybe, do we count Lewis because technically it's Lewis? And he has Portuguese, like he has Brazilian citizenship because they love him so much.
Poquito.
We claim him. We claim him.
Poquito, we claim him. We claim him. Yeah, he's one.
Also, I saw that Ali Behrman like Karol G, and I was like, he's Latino now.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, he's invited to the carne asada for sure.
That's right. He's invited to the carne asada. No es Latino.
He's invited to the carne asada.
But he's invited. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. That's a very Mexican thing though, carne asadas, right?
No, every Latino has a version. The Chilenos do asado. They just say asado.
I love that.
And it's literally just meat. Just meat. No comen nada más. Pura carne.
No hay verduras.
They don't really grill them, no. Un asado es literal pura carne, sus choripanes, su chorizo.
Yes, choripanes.
Carne. These delicious little chorizos. They're like hot dogs, but they're in this like special made pancito with their homemade chorizo. That's just like, oh, it's so delicious.
So is it like a pig in a blanket?
No, it's like a hot dog.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It's rich. Vamos a Chile, te llevo. Carne.
Ooh. Oh my God.